Hey guys, welcome to our very first podcast. This is Jennifer with My TC Academy. And so I want to take the opportunity and spotlight students that have been doing their thing out in our community. So today I have one of our students. Her name is Melissa Negron, and she is with Streamline TC Services. Welcome. How are you
Hi,
today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. So, Melissa, you joined our community about, has it been like a month, 2 months or so?
Couple months.
Okay, awesome. Melissa, tell us a little bit about yourself. Before being a transaction coordinator, what is your background? What were you doing?
I actually come from a commercial real estate development background in GC world. I've been doing that for about over 11 years. So I actually started off as a project assistant, then worked my way up to project engineering, then assistant project management and civil engineering project management throughout the years. And then the last position I had was project controls and real estate development. So, yeah, that's why I actually came into transaction coordinating because I just feel like it was something I really truly had a lot of experience in, just a different industry.
Yeah, awesome. Prior to you coming to my TC Academy, did you know what a transaction coordinator was before?
No, I wasn't. I had no clue. I actually, for a very long time, was looking for something because I've been in the corporate world for so long and I've kind of been wanting to look for a way, my husband and I both, for some more financial freedom where we can, kind of be able to enjoy ourselves in life and at the same time do something that we're passionate about, but on our own terms. And so I have been for a while looking for something. I just couldn't figure it out. We kept coming up with ideas, him on his side, me on my side, and then I was just looking through TikTok and I noticed, I was actually following your videos because of your Puerto Rico move journey. And then I'd hear you talk about transaction coordinating and I was like, okay, that sounds interesting and that's something that I'm totally aware of because that's basically what I've been doing for the past decade just in real estate. So then I started listening to more of your videos, and then that's just what intrigued me.
That's so funny you say that because it's kind of very similar to how I got started. I had no idea what a transaction coordinator was. I only knew of like the normal roles that you always hear: agent, investor, attorney, buyer, seller was the only thing that I knew. Right. And so when I
Right.
heard of transaction coordinating, I was like, wait a minute, I think I can do this. And
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's funny because in one of those ideas that we were brainstorming, we both were like, well, how about we get into real estate like as agents, like get our license and all that. And then he's very good at sales, and I am very like introvert when it comes to having to do sales is not like my forte. So I kept looking into it, but then that's actually one of the things is it was strong in my interest, but then it just stayed in the back line, like, and then I saw the transaction coordinator that it's basically a portion of what the agents do, which is the part that I would feel more comfortable doing just not the sales part. Like, and so when I noticed what it entailed, I was like, oh my God, that's totally my fit. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Because agent, right, that role is something that is very common. People hear a lot about it. They're like, I automatically want to be an agent, not knowing that there's the other side of it. And so everything comes with its pros and cons. And I'm an agent as well in Connecticut. And when I look back, I'm like, I prefer to be a TC all day, every day. Not only am I not spending stupid amounts on fees, like the fees to keep your license active, the continuing education, and then having the super box, the lock box that you have to pay for a service every single month. All of those things add up versus being a transaction coordinator. Yes, you have these subscriptions for certain systems, but it's nowhere near close to how much an agent spends on all that. Not to even mention how much they have to spend on leads. It's crazy.
Yeah, I noticed that by watching videos on agents' experiences, and I learned a lot from what it entails. So yeah.
Yeah. So you have been, doing a ton of learning in my TC Academy. What would you say is one of your specialties, if you have one? What deals do you like to focus on mostly, maybe ones more than others?
I mean, right now I am providing services for the traditional real estate transactions, creative finance, wholesale. And just plan on growing and learning more to bring on more services. But yeah, I really do like the wholesale and creative finance. I find it more intriguing and interesting. I love challenges. So I feel that in that those type of deals bring something different each time. So that's what I love is those challenges. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah, awesome. And so, for those of you that are watching that probably aren't familiar with the term creative finance, we're talking about more complex transactions. We're talking about sub two, seller finance, hybrid transactions. So that's where the buyer, the investor, is not going about this in a traditional way. They're not typically getting a new loan to purchase the property. They're going about it in a creative way. And to Melissa's point, there's so many nuances with that. And so she has taken on that learning on her own. Like she has gone above and beyond outside of our community to really dig deeper into what else is out there, which is amazing. And as a TC, that's what TC should be doing, right? As a transaction coordinator, you should be continuing your education more and more. And that's what really makes TC stand out. Melissa, tell us, for somebody that is new, that has no idea what a transaction coordinator even is, can you tell us in like a few sentences what a TC is, what they do?
So a transaction coordinator is basically the project manager of the deals, of the transactions. We're there to be able to be the main communicator between all the parties involved. We are on top of deadlines, make sure that nothing is missed. We make sure we gather all the documents that title will require, just to make the process stress-free and smooth and everyone closes on time. And agents, if you're working with agents or investors, they don't have to deal with all the paperwork and being on top of these deadlines because we're as TCs we're here to do that while they go out and do more sales and just take care of other things. So we're basically the project manager of the deal of the transaction.
Absolutely. And you know what I've heard from other students when they're starting to learn the role of a transaction coordinator and starting to implement those skills, they're like, wow, now I see why investors and agents should be using a transaction coordinator because not some, a lot of what we do is time consuming, right? So imagine if it's time consuming for someone that already has systems set up, already has the process set up, and is very knowledgeable in this. Yes, we can do it much, much quicker than a lot of investors, right? Because this is something that we do all the time. But imagine for an investor and agent that is also responsible for making calls and finding deals, going to showings or going to see properties and trying to stay on top of the paperwork and the process and making sure that everything's fine. That takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, most
Now,
definitely. Time
for
consuming.
for investors, and even let's say investors, how much time would you say that a TC is saving an investor by using a TC?
I'd say 15 to 20 hours a week.
Yeah, 15 to 20 hours a week. And that's obviously going to vary. And, obviously that's per file, right? That can vary from deal to deal. Some deals can be straightforward. Some deals, even a cash deal, can come with some curveballs, right? I saw that you made a video about liens, things that can come up, and why deals can just die. And so, can you tell us a little bit more about that in case people haven't seen that video?
On the lien, the problems that come up with wholesale or
Yes.
So there is a lot of times that I've seen come through lean issues that will slow down. If there's air issues, and they have, if you haven't submitted all your documentations that are needed, if someone's married and not fully divorced, all the documentation that's before, what's included in the property. There's a lot of issues with paperwork coming through on time. Um, yeah. Um,
Now, how does a TC resolve this? So, like, if let's say a lien comes, it comes up in a title search, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a dead deal, right? So, as a TC, how are you facilitating this? So, a lien comes up. Who are you reaching out to get this resolved or to ask more questions?
so I am working with the title company to gather all this documentation. I stay on top of everybody and request all the documents that are needed to submit to title, and make sure it closes in time.
Yeah. And sometimes those liens can be handled with a simple discussion, right? Just reaching out to the seller, hey, this lien came up. Do you happen to know what's going on with this, right? Maybe it's maybe they stopped paying their credit card or something, and they placed a lien against their property. So you may want to find out, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, was this actually paid for? They will have to provide a receipt if it was, and if it wasn't, then that's something that needs to get taken care of at closing. But communication is key when it comes um, to being a transaction coordinator and getting things to the finish line. So, Melissa, tell us who your ideal client is. Is it agents, investors, or both?
I'd like to work with both. Like I said earlier, I love challenges. So, being able to work both, I really find interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. And Melissa is certified in working both with investors and agents. And so when students go through the full course, at the end, they get a certification. And it just, like I said, it doesn't stop there. We continue to work on continuous education and the skills and things like that. What else? What sets your customer service apart from other TCs, Melissa? Because there's so many TCs out there, right? But not every TC is built the same. So what makes you stand out from other TCs?
So I feel like I go above and beyond with communication and organization. I just strive to make the process easy for everyone involved.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you focus on certain states or are you nationwide?
I work nationwide.
Perfect. Where would you say you want to see your business in the next like 6 to 8 months?
So I see steady growth, more clients, more experience, more structure. I'm not rushing to build a big team yet, but I do want to refine my systems and educate myself even more and then just expand my services.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, Melissa. I honestly see you having a team like within the first year, to be honest, just because you bring so much value. You know exactly what you're talking about. You have that leadership skill. I can just see it. So I think that, within the first year, I think that you're gonna, bring on at least one or two other TCs or maybe even an assistant. And it's important for TCs to know when that time is to expand, right? This, if you are a TC that's watching this, you never, I don't encourage you to just push away deals, right? You want to see where your business is at. And the moment that you start noticing a consistent and steady flow, then you definitely want to start thinking about maybe onboarding another TC or an assistant to help you in that role. Because if you have the demand for it, then that means you have to start looking at ways to expand. Within my first year, I built a team. I brought some other TCs on. I brought partners on. I structured this whole big company. And so it's very scalable, very, very scalable. All right, perfect. So Melissa, I know that we've been, talking a lot about your TC services and your company, your ideal client. If somebody wanted to work with you, how can they reach out to you?
So I am on social media, all the platforms. I am in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. You could also find me on my website, streamlinetcservices.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Melissa, it was a pleasure having you here. And I know that you are going to continue to flourish and grow into such an amazing TC. And I am confident that any investor that works with you is going to have like the most amazing experience ever. So again,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Melissa, thank you. And now, guys, if you are thinking about being a transaction coordinator or have questions, definitely reach out to me. My name is Jennifer Cortez. You can reach us at 860-999-3648. That's my cell phone number. Or send us an email at info@mytcacademy.com. And I will check you guys out in the next video.